Hello, and welcome. This is Quinn with PTSD While Black. This is my channel where I talk about my personal experience with PTSD. This is actually a vlog and my personal journal, so it's not really built for other people. I do talk about um, all kinds of shit here, but what I'm going through currently with gang stalking. But today, I ain't talking about that. I meditated twice today. And I did one this morning and I did one in the evening. And I'm trying to get myself to just meditate more often. But the morning meditation just came up with so much raw stuff. It's like I'm evolving as an empath of being able to feel emotions. There's so much that I've been aware of or could feel since I was a kid. But this is like now as an adult, I'm learning to balance and manage that somewhat. In the meditation today, I was dealing with belonging, the need for belonging and community. And I allowed myself to go to when I was a hypnotherapist or studying that we did this one thing talking about gestalts where you can go back to like the earliest time that you experienced a certain negative emotion and learning the lessons that you needed to learn during that time. And so we did like the major emotions. Um, but anyway, with this sense and need of belonging, because gang stalking kind of separates you from everyone and everything, to isolate you, to make you more controllable. Um, this need for belonging, I tapped into like my 5-year-old self. I've told that story. The earliest trauma that I can think of other than birth itself was my grandmother was our main caretaker, and she forced me to when I said I needed to go to the bathroom, they had an outhouse, and she forced me to use to go out by myself at 5 years old in the woods to the outhouse, and instead, I just decided to stay near the light and to go by a tree, and I was forced to sit in my own waste. Um, this was I was forced to sit in my own waste throughout dinner until my mom came and took me home and took me to the bathroom. So that's one of the earliest traumas that I had of where I could not trust authority figures. I could not trust my own self and my own needs with my own body. And I wanted to belong, and I felt like I was a bad kid for speaking up and saying that I needed to take care of myself instead of being told, no, you can sit there and wait. Um, so I now know that that was abuse. Well, sitting with this trauma and the need to belong to the family unit, I was able to look at what did that child need. Um, how can I reparent as and I'm 41, not 42. I keep forgetting. I age myself. My birthday's in June. I'm still 41. Um, but I'm learning to reparent and be the parent that the child needed at the time. Because one of the things that anyway, so in this reparenting process, accepting that I did belong, even if I did not belong to my grandmother's family, I belonged in my household. I belonged to my aunties who loved me. I belonged to my higher power, the divine, even though I did not have a spiritual center as a 5-year-old kid. So that was something that like I can was able to pass to the youth. But then it went further because when we did the gestalts, can you go as far back as we go past lives? Let's start the same ones for everybody else. Ages 0 to 7, birth, um, generational trauma, and past lives. When have you experienced this? So I went to the next area, which was generational trauma. Being the descendant of people who were taken from their homeland and brought to another land, being strangers in a strange land, not belonging, who were separated from sister, mother, father, brother, and had this loss for family. They were sold off from each other, and there's this need for belonging. So I recognize that I have this generational need for belonging, and that I have the privilege to be able to be aware of that generational need and to heal that generational need for belonging. Because there's such a thing as intergenerational trauma, which is where when we experience something in the present that our ancestors or grandfather, grandma, whatever, experienced in the past, it can trigger us so deeply because their trauma was never healed and it got passed down from one kid to the next, from one relative to the next. And so it was unresolved. And so I've decided I'm going to let it end with me, this belonging. And as well as any other traumas that come up. And the other one that came up this evening was body autonomy. Again, it was that same scenario of not being able to trust my own body because I was going I was thinking about my seizure-like episodes and not being able to trust my body, because I lose memory, I lose the ability to talk. Sometimes it's in really bad cases, I'll lose coordination. So I'm like, what's the fear behind that? And it's, oh, not being able to trust my body, not being able to trust I can be who I thought I was. And again, it comes from I went back generationally with this, and the same thing with the ancestors who were taken from their homeland and brought to America. Um, they're not able to trust the knowledges, skills, the titles that they had because they took kings and queens and scholars as well, not just your everyday Joe Schmo, and transitioning people into enslavement. Um, so not having this trusting of my own body and abilities, and if you dare to run away, you might have lost a limb, you might have been beaten, might have had a concussion, which I have now, without being treated, without being healed, and you're being told to expect that your body can work beyond, the ability to or fatigue, sun up, sun down, work process, and it's all these things that none of that trauma got addressed, and we were told to just get over it. We were told to just keep on keeping on and to just keep moving, but the feeling, the need was there. And so I see for myself as an empath that part of my responsibility, not just in healing this for me, but feeling it, to feel the feelings around these things is my responsibility because I have the privilege to be able to express those feelings that my ancestors could not. My ancestors could not express those feelings. And so this morning was just so emotional because it was just like made me cry. And I was like, it was good to see because I do another exercise. It helps me to see what is me and what is not me. Because again, being an empath, I pick up people's energy really fast and I can pick up someone's sorrow, fear, anger. And especially if they're close to me, I can be processing it and going, what the hell is this? It does not belong to me. So that's one of my uh, grounding exercises. And so it was like the same thing. I'm recognizing that when I am centered, when I meditate, when I focus, I'm able to pick up on I'm able to pick up on the energy of my ancestors, that feeling that's been there, that intergenerational trauma that's been there, that's not been addressed. It's begging to be addressed and healed all the time. And so it's this ability to know what's the difference between me and others. And I know this sounds super woo woo, and I don't care. I'm allowing myself to explore the woo woo side of things. Um, like I think I've already shared this, but like being geosentient, for example, we just had the spring equinox, and ever since I was a kid, I could feel the changes in the seasons through my body. Usually there was nausea and dizziness during the spring equinox for me. Winter, um, my extra fingers on my hands would hurt in the winter. Um, so I know there are some things that my body is processing and is aware of, and I just need to accept that. You know how birds fly south for the winter? They just know when to do that, and it's kind of the same thing. My body just knows when, "Hey, this is happening, and I'm either grieving this transition or this change, or I might be celebrating it." I get bubblier in the summer, I've noticed, 'cause I'm a summer baby. But, I'm allowing myself to feel, and I know for some people that may be a threat. I know for some people that may feel weird because our society tells us not to feel, and I am an odd duck because I demand the ability to feel, and that's been what's helping me to heal, in this journey with my PTSD, um, has been to stop and to feel, and it's the same thing actually, ooh, with my PTSD, it's being able to know, what am I experiencing today? Is it the same thing that's happening right now, or am I safe right now? And being able to recognize I am safe right now, but I was triggered by something that reminded me of the past, that I can validate those feelings, that I can validate that experience while knowing at the same time I'm safe at this moment. It's the same thing for me with being aware of my ancestors' experiences. So I just really view that as an interesting process. And I think it's just the more that I center, the more that I meditate and connect with all that is, that I get to have different experiences. Yeah. So, till next time, peace.